Hey guys, welcome to another video. I hope this finds you well. In this video, I wanted to go into a little more details about the reasons why we picked the two countries that we picked where we are planning to move in Africa. Okay, so if you don't know yet, we are planning our move to West and Central Africa. So Cameroon is country number one, and Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast is country number two. So, but I get a lot of questions about why we picked these two. So I figured this would be a great video to talk about country number one, which is Cameroon, and why we chose Cameroon. I'm going to go into five main reasons why we picked Cameroon. And you're going to be able to see the other video where I do the same thing with Côte d'Ivoire, the 5 main reasons why we're picking Côte d'Ivoire. This video was inspired by Ayo and Tony from the channel Expat Life Ghana, where they talked about the reasons why they are choosing Ghana, why they are moving to Ghana. And so I wanted to do something similar on the reasons why we are choosing Cameroon. So I'm gonna go down the list, no particular order, but I think number one is kind of the main reason. So let's go into it. Number one, and hopefully this will help you make your own choices of the places where you want to move to based on maybe the logic of how we actually decided on our destination. It might not be the same process for you, but hopefully that will inspire you a little bit. So number one, obviously, is family. My husband is originally from Cameroon, so it is a natural, logical draw to go to Cameroon and to pick Cameroon as our place to move to, because there's family, there's comfort, there's that. It's just easier, right? Because you already know somebody there, so naturally that's an easy choice to make, okay? To make the transition easy for us, because it's going to be a big transition, but having family there, it's a big plus. Okay, so that's number one, it's family. And I'm looking down at my notes to make sure that I cover everything that I have planned. Okay, so a lot of family members there, it's familiarity, so it's an easy choice. Okay, number two, and this is very, very important for me, is because it's French speaking, mostly French speaking. So Cameroon specifically is both, it's bilingual, so there's French and English, but the majority is French speaking. So that's very important for me. I want my kids to be able to speak French just like I do. Growing up in Morocco, my family, me and my siblings, we learned to speak French at home, English at church, Spanish through television, and Arabic in the street, because Arabic is, one of the main languages in Morocco, right? So it's very difficult to be here and talk to my kids in French when I spend the whole day speaking in English. It's not impossible, a lot of people do it, but it's very challenging. So the easiest way for you to learn language is to be actually immersed in that situation. And for kids, it's a lot easier than for an adult. So that's why I wanted my kids to be able to grow up in an environment where French is a main language. They can learn Spanish here, living in the US, because it's the second language that most people will learn at school, but French will be a little more challenging. So because it's French speaking, that's reason number two. So look into the languages and look at the opportunities that might be there for you and your family if you want your kids to learn another language. Like I said, it's a lot easier to learn a new language when you're immersed in that culture. Okay, so that was number two. Number three is the cost of living. That is a main draw for Cameroon, because the cost of living is a lot lower than here in the US, specifically in Houston. And when we look at the budget of what we're spending here every month and what we would potentially spend there every month, it's almost cut in half, okay? Almost. So that is it's a very attractive point, right? A lot of people want to go to places where the dollar is a lot stronger. So a lot of people will go to, let's say, Mexico or South America. And now, even with a stronger dollar at the time of this recording, it's even a more of an incentive to do that. Okay, so for Cameroon, unlike Côte d'Ivoire, for Cameroon specifically, it is a big draw. It's a very attractive point, the fact that the cost of living will be a lot cheaper than it is here for us right now. Okay, number four, which is very related to number one, is business opportunities. So business opportunities, because when you're in business, this is something that you have to understand, is that the bigger the need, the bigger the business opportunities, because the purpose of a business is to bring a solution to a problem. So if you have a big problem, you bring a big solution, right? So in that logic, there are a lot of business opportunities in Cameroon because there's a lot of need, okay? Cameroon is not a super advanced economy, Sure, there's a lot of advancements and things like that. So it's not coming from the American perspective, is not the country that most Americans think it is, like poor and all of that. It's not like that. There's a lot of economic development, but there's a lot to be done as well. And where there's a lot to be done, there's great business opportunities. So that would be a great place for my husband and I to continue our businesses, but also to start new businesses as well. Okay. So yeah, I'll cover that point. So now the fifth point, which is actually the one that I meant to say that was related to number one, is networking. Networking because of family that we have there, because of friends that we have there already who are in certain industries. So it will be a lot easier to be able to access those industries, to access certain market, because you already know people. And as you know, sometimes it's more about who you know than what you know or who you are, right? So it's very important to have those things, those places, so those people in place already before you go in there, so that you can have certain advantage, okay? Instead of going there as a newcomer and nobody knows you, you don't know anybody, it'll be a little harder for you. And also because Cameroon also has a big problem in terms of corruption. And so knowing people, it makes things a lot easier for you. Okay, so that was reason number 4. It was networking. Was it number 4? I think it was number 5. So number 1, let me recap. Number 1 was family. Number 2 was because of the language as a French-speaking country. Number 3 was the lower cost of living. Number 4 was business opportunities. And number 5 was networking. I'm going to add a little bonus here, and I'm going to talk about political stability. So for a lot of us, when we think about going to sub-Saharan Africa, a big factor, mostly if you're going with family, is looking at political stability. So here's the thing with Cameroon, is that if you're aware of it, there are some political troubles on the west part of the country. So that makes a lot of people nervous. But at the same time, when you go to the capital, when you go to Douala or Yaoundé, you're not going to be faced with this insecurity, right? So it is safe to go. It's safe to go with your family, and if it wasn't, then we wouldn't be going. But it is safe to go there. So if you know where to go, who to go with, where to go, then you're fine, right? So it's not at the safest place to go. And again, it depends on where you go and who you go with, who you know, and everything. And it's just about doing the right thing and being in the right place, right? So you have to be, anywhere you go, you have to be careful what you do and where you are, right? And I mean, even now, even more so now, talking about safety and security here in the US, it's not a given. It's not always a given because, I mean, we have shootings happening, we have, there are things happening that can happen anywhere. So sometimes your likelihood of being in danger is greater here in the US than somewhere outside of the US. So that's something to take into consideration, just a matter of perspective. Okay, so that was my little bonus reason, which is in spite of the political insecurity that might happen in a part of the country, it's still pretty stable where we plan to go. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this inspired you and helped you, give you a little guidance on how you choose your destination for your Blaxit. Let me know if this was helpful, and if you want to look at the part where I talk about our choices and our reasons to go to pick Côte d'Ivoire, make sure you check the video in the description below. Until next time, bye.